Okay, so we've talked about the capabilities here. We talked about the pricing of it. So you mentioned that you have dealers. So talk where are you at in terms of numbers of vehicles that you have out now, and how are you finding dealers, and where are they, and that type of thing.
Yeah, so we're just now getting to the point to where we're delivering vehicles. I mean, we have a number of dealers across the United States. So we are represented very heavily on the East Coast,
Okay.
and then we have our dealers that we're developing here in California. The launch of our own brand, caused us to delay because we had to do our branding of our vehicles
Right.
and make some changes there. But also we didn't want to launch with one product with our dealers and then turn around and change midstream with them. And so it was really important for us to get our program really built out and then go out to our dealers. That being said, we're now signing on dealers here through California, the East Coast or the West Coast, and then starting in New Jersey and then spreading out on the West Coast, on the East Coast, and then I believe we just picked up a dealer in the Midwest. So.
Okay. So typical profile of a dealer here, are these recreational vehicle dealers? Are they golf cart dealers? Normal automotive dealerships, motorcycles. I mean, what's the profile here? What are you looking for?
Yeah, there's actually a very large network of dealers out there that focus just on commercial utility vehicles, and
Okay.
all the way from agriculture to industry. So they're very large. They're very large dealerships. So they don't, although they will sell to the general public, they're not focused there.
Yeah.
They're not selling UTVs, Razor, Polaris Razors next to their John Deere tractors, right?
Right. Right.
Um, one thing that I did I missed in one of your questions, if I do remind me, going back, you were talking to me about manufacturing capacity. Sorry about that.
They're building vehicles, man. Go for it.
Yeah, we're making a lot of noise back there. So so as far as our manufacturing capability and what we have in inventory. So once again, that was one of the things that I really wanted to make sure that when we launched our product line, that we weren't going out with these wish vehicles, right?
Right.
I wish
Right.
I had one for you, but if you wait for 3 months, we'll get one to you. So we
Right.
have 300 vehicles in inventory from the West, across the United States,
Okay.
and and as far as our manufacturing capability, we have a number of manufacturing facilities that we already are utilizing, on the East Coast and here on the West Coast, and we can produce enough vehicles to meet our initial demand as we sit today.
Oh, okay. So you're producing the vehicles on the East Coast as well as on the West Coast?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
The way we design the vehicle kits to go together, they come complete. It's a complete kit, so we can drop them where we can locate facilities, manufacturing or assembly facilities nearby a major port, and then we drop ship the kits directly to those facilities, and they're assembled there.
Oh, okay. All right. So when you say kit, so obviously some of these parts then are coming in from, I'm going to guess here, Asia, probably, I would think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like most things anymore. So,
Yeah. Well, it's a matter of value, right? I mean, we could be building vehicles here in the United States. The components, so sourcing all of our components here, and we do source a very large percentage of components here in the United States. Our upfit packages, all of our first responder packages. We have the street sweeper. That's one of a big news break
okay.
that we're going to be announcing tomorrow, and all those components are made here in the United States, and so we're very focused on having a very high content level that's being sourced here in the U.S. But the reality of it is that there's a number of the chassis and the cabs themselves are coming from Asia.
Okay. So are you happy with the quality that you're seeing from there? I mean, originally there were I saw some of the very early EVs that were coming into the country. Interestingly, I actually saw them in Mexico City first.
Yeah.
But, and there were, they had been I think they'd been sitting in the storage lot for 6 months and they were already rusted out. So that and so obviously I'm a little leery of the quality that's coming out of there. So are you happy with what you're getting from them, and how are you managing quality control from a distance?
Yeah, well, we actually have representation right there in our factories, so that we can monitor the quality, as well as our initial quality and our specifications that we're requiring of our suppliers are a very high level. I was extremely pleased with our first articles, as well as the 300th article. So
Right.
it's
Good.
one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's no secret, right? You order something, and then the next thing you know is, oh, it looks great, and then whatever they produce is, wait a minute, this wasn't what we agreed on.
Right,
So
exactly. Yeah, those are the horror stories I've heard. Is the first one is wonderful, but down the line they start cutting corners for profitability's sake. So
yeah, well, we haven't seen that slippage. We've actually seen a progressive improvement of the quality.
good.
Where it was really good before, it's even better now. I'll be honest. I mean, the fit and finish was met our what we were expecting in the
Right.
original. What we're seeing now is even better. So,
Wow, great.
it's the doors don't rattle, the windows don't rattle. I mean, it's we're really happy, and so we hope our customers will appreciate that quality. Going down as the vehicles age.
So with that relationship, obviously, we're not seeing any, apart from obviously bicycles and motorcycles and scooters, and now, your CUV there. We're not seeing any Chinese-made automobiles branded, BYD or any of those in any kind of numbers here. I'm guessing you're anticipating that will probably change. What are your thoughts with respect to, the rise of Chinese automotive exports to the world?
Well, in China, there's been a very big push with the brand, the major brands, to build their vehicles in country, and the net effect of that, let's say Audi. So Audi and VW were the first ones in China, and they've been training the workforce. They've been helping these companies and these suppliers understand what the quality expectations are of the buying public, and elevating their quality and their and the level of workmanship to the standards that that we become accustomed to here. And so when I drive, when we ride in, we're not really allowed to drive over there. It's not like you can go rent a car there and drive around.
Right.
Nor would you want to, because the signs are really almost illegible sometimes. The what you're seeing is an Audi A6 is, you wouldn't know. It's the same standard that you see everywhere, even here in the U.S. So
Yeah.
I guess what I'm getting at is that when the Cherries and the BYDs and these other brands start showing up here on our shores, it'll be just like probably that progression that the Korean vehicles went through.
Right.
As they
Right.
started. Yeah.
Yeah. And now look, I mean, I hate to say this, but now about every other H vehicle that I see out there is no longer a straight H Honda. It's a
Yeah.
leaning Hyundai,
Yeah,
which was interesting, a bit of marketing ploy, I think, on their part. But how do you tell the difference? Well, this is being an entrepreneur and having done this. What advice would you have to other budding entrepreneurs looking to get into the EV space?
I think that well, let's see. If I had to boil it down, I'd probably say do your homework.
Okay.
Be prepared. Be as thorough as you can in modeling your potential market, modeling your business. I think that if you are very realistic about where you're going and what you're doing, you will always over deliver and exceed your expectations. To sell this, when in my experience working with startups, there's all these lofty goals, and it's great to have lofty goals, but don't fool yourself into thinking that you're gonna exceed those those goals, or sometimes even meet them. But you have to set the mark high so that when you actually, whatever you achieve will be more than if you were overly conservative. So
Right.
just be more realistic, I guess, is what it is.
Right. Great. Well, John, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today, and I wish you great luck. And at some point, I want to pick up this conversation off the record because I'd like to talk about maybe bringing something like this into the Nebraska, Iowa area. So let's carry that conversation on another time. So great, John. Thank you. We've had John Bautista with us, who is the founder and CEO of Tropus Motors, and I think they're going to do great things with their new vehicle, the Able. So thank you, John.
Thank you, Bill.
All righty.